My name is April Campbell and I'm with Triodent, and I'm going to show you how to do a demonstration flawlessly to your doctors. You're going to be able to sell each piece of the system to show the doctor the full value of the system, the full kit. By doing this, you'll be able to show an award-winning product to your doctors that they'll find value in and grow the sales in your territory with Triodent products. I'm going to start off by showing you the different instruments in the system so that you can sell each piece. So the first one is going to be the pin tweezer. It has a gold side which identifies the pin, and there's a pin that sticks out and that actually will fit into all of the consumable holes. On this pin tweezer, the end says press to grip, so you want to show your doctors to hold it down there when they're placing the matrix bands or the wedges, and up at the top area it says press to open. So it's going to be a cross-action reversible pin tweezer. They need to work with it down here. So to start off, we're going to use the matrix band. So you'll place the gold pin into that hole on the top. The tab on the top is for placement, and the holes on the sides are for removal. All of our bands have a contoured marginal ridge, and there are 3 sizes of bands. There are short, standard, and subgingival. So before you place this band, you'll want to bend this at a right angle, and you'll place this into the preparation, and then just trap that with your finger, and then with another finger you can just bend that tab down toward the adjacent tooth, and that's going to be a handle for placing your wedge. Alright, the wedges also come in 3 sizes. There's holes on the edges there for your pin tweezer, so that will fit right into there. And this is also nice because you can rotate this, so it doesn't matter what orientation the assistant hands this to the doctor. The wedges come in small, medium, and large. The first 1/3 is flexible and the underside's cut out for the papilla. So you're going to put a finger on this tab, place your wedge just until you feel resistance. And what that's going to do is it's going to flare out on both sides and contour that band further. And once that's on there, you have minimal separation, but you have really great seal and contour. Next, we're going to place the ring, and the ring is actually where we're going to get the separation for your tight contact. Okay, so our rings come in 2 sizes. We have the green, which is universal, and the yellow, which is narrow. So the yellow is going to be for pediatric teeth and bicuspids, and it's one of the only rings on the market that works on the distal of a canine. And then the green ring will work on any of those teeth, which is why we would call it the universal ring. A lot of doctors will call the green ring the molar ring and the yellow ring the premolar ring. Both rings have nickel titanium all the way through the ring, and then the front area is actually glass fiber reinforced plastic. It's a very durable plastic, and when we were testing this material, we autoclaved it 800 times and there was no change. So we do offer a 2-year manufacturer warranty on the rings because we know how durable these rings are. So when you go to place these, the V shape is why we call it the V ring, and it actually sits right on top of the wedge, just like you'll be able to see right here. So when I go to place this, I'm going to put my forceps into these notches, and then I'm going to go sit right on top of this ring. So I'm going to first go against the band and then rock that back on top of that. And I always put a finger on there just in case it's not seated properly. And then you'll go in here and you'll just burnish your contact area. And once that's on there, you have 60 to 80 microns of separation just from that ring. When you have the ring on, it gives you 60 to 80 microns of separation, and the bands are only 30 microns, so you have a consistently tight contact. The starter pack includes 2 pin tweezers, so there's one for the wedge and one for the matrix band, and that just ensures efficient instrument transfer. Then you get 3 sizes of our matrix bands, and it does have a little code button in here so you can see this says 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. So this is going to be your short, standard, and subgingival bands. You also get 3 sizes of the wedges, small, medium, and large. 1 of each of the rings, so you have your universal ring and your narrow ring, and your forceps. The forceps is actually different than a rubber dam clamp forceps in that there are tines that actually contour around the rings so that it won't slip off when in use. Okay, now you've seen how to do the demonstration, so I encourage you to practice this on your own, and we're all here to help you out, so if you have any questions, please direct them to your regional manager. There are a few questions that you may be asked by dentists. One of them is they'll ask if you can use this with an amalgam. And the system was actually created to be used with composite, but you can use it with an amalgam and there's no issues with that. Also, you may be asked if you can use the system with a rubber dam clamp in place. And Typically the ring will sit right on top of your rubber dam clamp. If there is a problem, then we suggest using a wingless clamp in those situations. You may be asked if you can use this system on the distal of a back molar, and you wouldn't use this because there's not going to be any contact back there, so you can just use your Omni Matrix. If you're asked about the difference in thickness between the supercurve band and our standard band, the supercurve bands are 35 microns and the standard bands are 30 microns, and it's nothing that's very noticeable. A very popular question is, how do we get the composite off of our rings? So one way to prevent getting it there in the first place is to put a thin coating of Vaseline on the plastic area, especially up where it says Triodent and V3. That's the #1 place where the composite will stick. If the doctors have rings that already have the composite on them, we recommend soaking those in alcohol for about an hour, and then you'll be able to take that composite off. The wedge guard is a product that's used to prevent accidental nicking of the adjacent tooth during the prep. So what we're going to do with this is place this in just like we would a wave wedge on the pin tweezer. Doctor's going to do the cavity prep, and that guard will prevent the burr from nicking that adjacent tooth, and it also allows the doctor to work a little bit faster. There's a little hole at the top for this pin tweezer, so we're going to put that right in there when the doctor's done and pull this guard out, and then the wedge is going to stay in place. I'm going to place the Supercurve matrix, which is actually a non-stick version of our V3 tab matrix. It comes in all of the same sizes, and it's got a Teflon type coating, so it's ideal for doctors who are using a self-etch bonding resin. I'm going to go ahead and place this down just until I feel it stop, and then I'm going to back the wedge out until I feel the band drop below the gingival margin, and then I'll push that back in there. And then the ring will sit on top of that wedge. Okay, here's another tip, and this is with stacking wedges. So basically, if the doctor's got a wedge placed and sees a void, or feels that the gingival margin may not be sealed enough, we can actually slide a smaller wedge underneath the wedge which is placed. So all that you'll do is go in here and slide that smaller wedge right underneath, and that would create a tighter gingival seal. So I'm actually going to show you how this slides. So you're going to have your larger wedge, and then one size smaller will just slide right underneath here because of the space that's cut out for the papilla. It allows for that to slide in there. So now I'm going to show you how you can stack these rings for quadrant dentistry or an MOD. So you'll just go in, place your smaller ring forward, and then the universal ring on the molar is right on top of there. And because of the angle on these rings, it allows them to be stacked. Also, you can, we call butterfly this out. Alternatively, some doctors prefer to do it that way. And you want to remember that the ring is actually what's creating the separation in this system, not the wedge. Another selling point with this system, this yellow ring is one of the only rings that works on the distal of a canine, so I always show the doctors how that works, and they usually love it.